Good morning, good evening, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you might be doing. We wish to welcome you to the Silverlight Show. The Silverlight shines to illuminate that which lies hidden in darkness. For those of you tuning in today, we welcome you in. So this peace this peace offer from Russia is actually really intriguing. There's some interesting details to it, but let's get into it. Russia came basically out of the blue and offered to end hostilities. Now, most people's reaction is, oh yeah, he's in trouble. He's got to figure out this, that, the other thing. He's running out of troops. Both Russia and Ukraine have tried to use prisoners of their legal system as soldiers. The problem is, those prisoners wouldn't be in jail if they were used to following the rules and used to following orders. But Russia comes out and says, nope, we're willing to talk peace. Now, here's the brilliant game Putin has played. First of all, he wants all the territory that they conquered back in 2022 when they started their initial blitz. That's a big ask. But it's something that can be negotiated. He said he doesn't want Ukraine joining NATO. That'll be an interesting one to work out the details. It's very difficult to put a treaty of any sort that says you may never have dealings with these other people of any sort. I don't even know how to rate that one, especially when the process is so far along. But to be honest, he's trying to make sure NATO doesn't get to put more troops closer to his borders. I don't think there's an imminent conflict between, Russia and NATO, but stands to be updated. And then he dropped his bombshell. He wants Ukraine to be a nuclear-free zone. Why is this so important? Well, first of all, nuclear-free zone means Ukraine would not be able to have nuclear reactors. For example, Chernobyl. And they have others. So are they forcing Ukraine to shut down pre-existing nuclear reactors? And also, by Ukraine declaring itself nuclear-free, you have this thing that you may or may not have heard of called the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. And in that, countries like the United States and Russia, France, United Kingdom, China, South Africa. I don't remember if South Africa ever signed on or not. But they're basically promising, or Pakistan and India too, they're basically promising they're not going to go around and spread that technology. They're just going to be an exclusive little club. Canada, for example, is technically nuclear weapons free. Although, in case of an emergency, I'm sure the United States would fly, drive, whatever it took to get nuclear weapons here. But because Putin is able to appeal to the Non-Proliferation Treaty, he's doing what the United States has been claiming to be doing in Iran, trying to keep them non-nuclear power. And by giving himself that international legal authority with a full treaty to appeal to, he's allowed to ask for it. Now, what happens if Ukraine can't use nuclear energy? And nuclear energy is controversial. It's both less dangerous and more dangerous people give it credit for. But if Ukraine can't use nuclear energy for its daily household use, they have to turn to coal, oil, and all of a sudden they are deep in the hole when it comes to the carbon taxes and all that sort of things governments are trying to start up. It's an interesting time bomb. It's a provision that will eventually cripple Ukraine. Oh, and while Ukraine does have a lot of oil and gas, Russia has even more to sell, especially since the past couple of years they couldn't sell to Europe. No one's paying attention to that clause. They're busy worrying about whose troops are going to go where and all that sort of thing, but that is a killer clause. You basically don't have a way out of it unless you just break the rules, and then guess what? He'll declare you in, abeyance of the treaty, and he'll invade again. He's invaded twice before. He's looking for an excuse to invade again, and he's written one in a treaty that he can take advantage of at any time. Now, you don't have to like somebody to admire their moves. If the bully of the school is a good chess player, you can say they're a good chess player, but they're a bully. I'm not here to extol Putin's virtues. I'm just saying this is an incredible move on his side. And let's not forget, he gets to claim, hey, I offered peace first. Russia and the Soviet Union have always been willing to do what it takes to win the PR war. Back, I believe it was the 60s or the 70s, they were offering the United States to a no first use policy of nuclear weapons. The United States has always turned it down. And the reason why the Russians and the Soviets were so desperate to implement this was not because of strategic weakness. It's because when they did their weather balloon tests, the real ones, not the ones that are going over top and, seeing what everybody's watching on their VCRs. But they found out if they attacked Western Europe, which was the most likely scenario at the time, all the radiation from London, Paris, Frankfurt, all those little places that were going to wind up getting struck by nuclear annihilation, well, even if Russia pulled out the perfect first strike and never had any worry about anyone retaliating, all that radiation would go over top of Russia, right towards Moscow. That's why they're offering no first strike. And this peace treaty, maybe they would consider not joining NATO. Maybe for the sake of peace, they'll dicker about the territory and, we don't recognize that map, we want to use this map, which is 2 miles different, or something like that. That could be their, quote, compromise, end quote, even though they were the invaders. But that non-nuclear nation clause, here's an example. When the Czech Republic wanted to join NATO, at that point Germany was going non-nuclear. And they objected because the Czech Republic had just finished a brand new nuclear reactor. This thing met all the safety standards. It was as good and as safe as you could possibly make it for the 90s and early 2000s. And Germany kept trying to shut it down because it was on their borders. Eventually they had a compromise and everybody got what they wanted. But this is two allies joining into NATO. It's not two nations that have just spent the past couple of years fighting each other, tooth and nail. It's a brilliant piece of propaganda that the Russians are going to use. Oh, we offered to stop it. Yeah, but you started it too. I hope they can find peace, and this is a legitimate reason to come to the bargaining table. But we're going to have to wait for the next little bit. I'm never optimistic about peace treaties ending conflicts. How many peace treaties did they sign and propose in Vietnam? It's a good couple, and they all fell through. Different time, I know, but Russia's learned from all that. They're trying to give the US something that looks attractive, but it's coded in such a way that it's going to make a real problem for any dealings in that part of the country. And legitimately, Putin doesn't want nuclear forces on his border. There's already nowhere that NATO's forces can't reach him and his territory. But he's just making sure he has what he needs for the future. Now, it's odd a nearly 70-year-old man would plan for the future, which shows he's not intending on going anywhere. Kind of like some other politicians out there. But just to give you a few things to think about. Well, anyways, with that, we hope you enjoyed this today's show, even if I can't speak a straight sentence. If you did, please like, share, because sharing is caring. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Don't forget to click the notification bell so that way you can be informed when we release an episode, which is normally every day at noon. But I'm going to be taking it easy for the next little bit. But that's what I'll be shooting for. And with that, we hope you have a fantastic day.